What's going on, guys? Ryan Meeks here. In today's video, we're going to talk about the differences and the pros and the cons if you're looking to move to Gilbert versus Queen Creek. Both of these are great places to live. I have absolutely nothing against either. I do personally live in Gilbert. However, I live on the southeast border of Gilbert, between Gilbert and Queen Creek right here. So I get to experience a lot of things, both Gilbert and Queen Creek. Does that make sense? So in today's video, I have a sticky pad here with all of my notes and what we're gonna talk about. So first, let's compare the amenities, and these are gonna be amenities that I love in Gilbert, amenities that I love in Queen Creek. Do I use all of these amenities? Probably not as much as I should. We'll talk about the downtown areas because I feel like that is really important in making your decision. We're gonna talk about the restaurants. I like to eat out. I'm sure everybody watching likes to eat food. I mean, who doesn't, right? Schools, and then we'll talk about home prices. Okay, so some of the things here. If you find that I should talk about something else, leave a comment below and I'll definitely do like a response video. I think YouTube's allowing some response videos here shortly. There's my dog. So amenities, let's talk about the amenities in Gilbert. The amenities that I find myself using a lot in Gilbert, they're mostly in my community, to be honest, but there are amenities like the Riparian Preserve, which is a really cool park that you can go to that has birds, a lot of lakes, a lot of sightseeing things, sort of like an overgrown desert. You can actually camp here overnight as well. So that's located up in northern Gilbert. So I don't get there as much as I wish I did, but definitely a very unique spot in Gilbert for some sightseeing. Obviously bird watching, you can go fishing there.
Catch anything? Nah.
It's next to the library. I don't know what that has to do with anything. There's also a spot there where you can get some professionally done photographs. I mean, you have to bring a photographer. They may have to pay a small permit fee, but a great place to get family photos. There's a lot of saguaro cacti there. Also, we have great parks such as Gilbert Regional Park that has a splash pad. I think it's got about 16 different pickleball courts, if not more. My friend and I go there. You can go there any night of the week and you can get pick-up pickleball games. That's right, pick-up pickleball. Basketball, also, we play basketball there on Thursdays. I need to stop playing. My back is, it's out. It's bad. They have tennis courts there. A lot of people apparently play tennis. Back where I'm from, not a lot of people play tennis, but it seems like it's a really popular sport here. Sand volleyball. I think they have like 7 or 8 sand volleyball courts here. You always see people playing sand volleyball. There's a huge amphitheater, a huge lake. So on the flip side of that, Queen Creek has Mansell Carter Oasis Park. That's a great location. They have baseball fields. So Queen Creek's got great baseball program from what I understand. Skate park here. They also have a couple basketball courts there as well. And then just a lot of soccer fields. And they have this water park there, which has a pirate ship. Kids love going up and down it, and usually kids are going kind of the wrong way and getting hurt, but you know, it's all in good fun. So that's a really cool park to check out. The playground there is really awesome too, and what I love about that playground is it's a covered playground, so you can really go there in the summer and not burn yourself. And then there's a fishing lake here too, and then that sits right next to the Queen Creek Wash, which is another great thing I love in Queen Creek. The Queen Creek Wash, which my family and we have a video on our YouTube channel. If you go back, one of the first videos I put out is just us going down that wash. Not very entertaining, about a half hour of just people riding bikes, but at least if you're moving here, you can kind of see what's along the way. And what is along the way here? So they have the Creekside Taco Shack, which is a cool place that people will actually cruise up on their horses. They have a volleyball court outside. It's more of an outdoor restaurant. Something really cool. A lot of sand there. If you like sand, kids can play in the sand. I know how parents have to deal with sand because, yes, I've dealt with sand when I come home. But anyways, cool place. At the end of the Queen Creek Wash, there's a little bistro where you can reward yourself after about 5.5 miles and get yourself some more foods. Maybe get a Bloody Mary. But both these places, alcoholic beverages and food. What more can you ask for? And then you take the hike back 5.5 miles to wherever you're going on the Queen Creek Wash. So that's something that's really nice. One thing that Queen Creek has that Gilbert doesn't have is obviously the Santan Mountain Regional Park. So this is a great place to go to if you enjoy hiking, if you just love walking through nature. There are anything from like easy, just flat plain hikes all the way to the Gold Mine Trail, which, you know, you're kind of climbing vertically to get to the top of this mountain. So really some challenging stuff there. And if you like mountain biking, this is a great place to go because there are like a ton of jumps that this means jumps, but no, seriously, like a ton of, this nam hula dancing here. So a lot of places for biking there in that Santan Mountain Regional Park. So really, really cool spot to go to. And they even have a trail that's handicap accessible. I bet you did not know that. Amenities, I feel like in Gilbert and in Queen Creek, no matter where you live, you can really enjoy either amenity. It doesn't matter. What I would focus on though is the amenities in your actual community. So I live in Power Ranch. I've probably said this 8,000 times and you guys are sick of hearing it. But I live in Power Ranch, and one thing that I love that we utilize every day are the walking trails. Sometimes I'll jog when my back's not hurting, which usually ends up making my back hurt, but I love jogging these trails. I have like a 3-mile trail that I'll jog, and it's beautiful. It's rewarding. People say hi. It's nice to just get out. Obviously in Arizona we have so many nice days. I do this all year long, guys, by the way. I mean, winter you throw on some sweatpants, summer just wear your underwear and run, right? So that's great. But whatever community you're in, make sure that you enjoy the amenities there. And then one other thing I love about Power Ranch is just the 2 resort-style pools. Even though we ended up building a pool here, when we first moved here, we weren't sure with the little kids and everything. We didn't want them to be by a pool because you do hear of accidents happening, and it's a great option to just go to the pool. That way you're designated, you're watching them, especially if you have little ones. So whatever community you live in, make sure the amenities fit you. That's the point. And we got another plane going by, but as we have this plane going by, I want to tell you guys about the downtown areas. So since I'm in Southeast Gilbert, I'm actually closer to the Queen Creek Marketplace than to downtown Gilbert. I wish I lived a little bit closer to downtown Gilbert, but living by the Queen Creek Marketplace, Queen Creek Marketplace just isn't as cool as downtown Gilbert. Why? Well, there's not as many restaurants. There's not as many kid-friendly areas as well, and there's just not the atmosphere of downtown Gilbert. Downtown Gilbert is truly awesome. It's a gem. I feel like people come from around the country to experience downtown Gilbert. They might go to downtown Scottsdale, and then someone will say like, hey, downtown Gilbert's cool too, and then they'll go to that. Now going to the Queen Creek Marketplace, you have TJ Maxx, you have Target. I think they're opening up a Dave & Buster's. That'll probably be the most exciting thing that they've opened there in years. They do have a Harkins Theater, however, so that's really about it. On the other side of the street, they have a Sprouts, they have a Chop Shop, they have like a chiropractor. So you can see there's not a whole lot of just like, hey, let's walk and see where the night takes us type of thing. It's more like, hey, I'm planning on going to this big box store. Let's make our trip out there. So downtown Gilbert, bar none, is way better than Queen Creek. But like I said, I'm closer to Queen Creek Marketplace. So wish I lived closer, but I love where I'm at in Southeast Gilbert. So that brings us to restaurants. I kind of hit on this already with the downtown area, so I'll make it brief. Restaurants, Queen Creek, not a whole lot. Olive Mill, Santan Flat, they do have bands there, kind of a cool spot. I noticed one thing when we brought our little kids there was like all this metal shard sharp stuff for them to get hurt on, just because there's so much decor and decoration in their little backyard area. So something to be aware of, but really a cool spot. I haven't been there in a while. And then if you're looking in the Queen Creek Marketplace, you have Barrio Queen, which is really good. Other than that, like a place called Uncle Bear's, which does karaoke on Wednesday nights. There's a breakfast place as well. Other than that, I haven't been to too many just good restaurants in Queen Creek. I feel like they're all chains, unfortunately. Gilbert, I mean, restaurants spread out everywhere. There is so much to choose from in the southeast to Vito's to Blue 32 to Isabella's Amor, one of my favorite Mexican spots. You got Vero's Pizza, which is right around the corner. I mean, there's a ton in Gilbert. And then obviously you have downtown Gilbert. So just a ton more dining options in Gilbert than Queen Creek. No question about it. Queen Creek, get your act together. So that brings me to schools. Let's talk about the school districts. So overall, this is such a tough subject to talk about, because as you guys have researched, I'm sure you've seen like in one Facebook group, somebody's like, ALA's the bomb. In another one, they're like, Benjamin Franklin's the best. My kid hated it there. So it's so weird here because there's so many choices that it really makes it difficult to say, hey, this school's the best. It's really about what school's the best for your kid. And if your kid is really focused on like education, not into sports, I would recommend any of the basis schools. Now, Queen Creek doesn't have a basis schools program, but Gilbert doesn't either, but Chandler does. Mesa does as well. So Basis is a great school. Once again, we have school choice here. Gilbert does have the better public school district. I will say that. We do score higher than Queen Creek Unified School District. So just keep that in mind. And we also feed into the Chandler Unified School District. If you live in like South Gilbert, kind of by Waterston or Stratford, south of Germain, they do feed into the Chandler Unified School District, which is one of the best school districts in Arizona, if not the best. So something you may want to consider. So schools, very hard to tell you guys what's going to work for you. You can go to like toparizonaschools.com and see all these kind of strange charter schools that are ranked really high, and maybe give one of those a chance. If your kid is really academically advanced, I feel like it's a almost better situation down here than like Illinois, because you have other options to where you can get them into some gifted programs rather than put them just with everybody else. Also, something to keep in mind is that in Queen Creek you will notice areas from where homes are less expensive, that's how I'm going to say this, areas where homes are less expensive, maybe to the east, you'll notice that they bring their children to go to school in Queen Creek. And I know some of them even bring their kids to go to the school district in Chandler. So that's just something else to keep in mind. Now, talking about home shopping, home prices, what are you going to get? So at $550 in Gilbert, you can get a house that was built in, let's say 2013. And, it's a little bit used and abused, but it's in an established community. And it's, it's a nice 1,800 square foot, 4-bed, 2-bath house. Now, if you're looking for $550 over in Queen Creek, you're going to get something a little bit better, maybe 2,500 square feet, single-story home with 4 beds and 3 baths, and it's going to be new. It's going to be, obviously, a brand spanking new, because Queen Creek is where all the new builds are going, and they're pushing east into Santan Valley. Now, you do have some communities like Stratford here in Gilbert, and there's some other new ones. Waterston's another one, but they're going to be, $50,000 to $100,000 more than Queen Creek. And Gilbert in general, even for an older home built in the early 2000s, for something with similar square footage, you can get something brand new out in Queen Creek. So that's really the draw of going out to Queen Creek. And what you'll notice in Queen Creek as well is that there's places like Barney Farms, unfortunately, super small backyards. I don't know what they were thinking, but they have, all these amenities, like 3 pools there. I just did a video on, like a TikTok video on it. 3 pools. They have a basketball court. They have 4 pickleball courts. They have this huge community center where they'll be having community activities. They have built-in bags, so those like cement bags. And then they have paddleboard and kayak lakes. And who doesn't love to just go on the lake and do that? Now, granted, you can't get in there and swim. I can't promise you what the water is going to be like, but hopefully they run it through some kind of filtration system so that if you do accidentally fall in, which I totally would, you're not gonna, it's not like falling into the Chicago River or something like that, but that would be a lot worse, trust me. So home prices, you're gonna get a little bit more for your money out in Queen Creek, but you'll notice a lot of people choose Gilbert because of its access to things like downtown, some of the amenities that I talked about, a little bit closer to things like Scottsdale, downtown Phoenix, and then also proximity to the airport. Because when you're coming from Queen Creek, there is definitely, going to be a little bit of a lag time there on Ellsworth Loop to be exact. There are 15 stoplights between Riggs Road and the 202 when you're trying to get out of Queen Creek. So something to keep in mind, guys. And I think you'll be happy anywhere. It really just depends. I'd say number one, if you're commuting a lot, make sure that you sort of map out your commute, figure out if it's going to be a pain in the butt if you have to do it 5 days a week. We are finding a lot of people working remote, so that doesn't really matter. Also in Queen Creek, just make sure if you go out to like Harvest at Queen Creek, that's a pretty far drive from like things like the marketplace, but they are building up further and further commercial further east. So just giving you the scoop on all the differences between Gilbert, Queen Creek. Hope this was helpful for you guys. Just a quick video I wanted to make. I know I'm slacking on my YouTube, but I will get up some more videos. And if you haven't already, check me out on TikTok. I got a lot of like quick videos that I'm putting out there. I love the platform. I was so against it, but it's been a lot of fun. So hope to see you guys on the next one.